ओके कुमार जी, नमस्कार।
नमस्ते सर, जय भीम सर।
जय हिंद। हेलो।
हेलो।
हाँ।
Abhay bhai, your voice is not coming.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir,
Okay,
you're
sir.
audible.
Okay,
Now it
sir.
is audible. It is audible.
Arun sir, can I circulate the link which you have given among my friends, or it is very close
Of course,
meeting?
of course, of course, of course.
Okay.
You must do it, no problem.
अरुण,
Yes or no?
हाँ स्टार्ट करो। 7
Start
12
करें?
हो गए, 12 हो गए ना, 12 मिनट हो गए।
हाँ.
Okay,
So,
sir.
Ravi
Okay,
bhai,
sir.
shall I start or you will?
I will start. I will start. Sir. I will start.
Okay,
Ravi will
good.
introduce you, and then you can start. So, good evening to all. I welcome to the lecture 51.
Yeah. ఒక్క నిమిషం రా.
Okay.
Ravi, continue. Ravi, continue. Ravi, continue.
This is the 51. This is 51 lecture. Today we have topic modern state, secular law and minority. A study of all India Muslim personal law, both 1973 to 2010. Today our speaker is Dr. Abhay Kumar, Assistant Professor, University of Dalit. So I would like to invite Arun Kote sir to introduce the speaker, today's speaker. I welcome Arun Kote sir. Hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi bhai, and welcome to all. And I do welcome Dr. Abhay Kumar. Abhay Kumar is quite a very, very, very special kind of person, a person who is very much concerned about the Muslims. He has gone beyond the minorities, and very specifically, he studied the uh, uh, Muslims issue. He is a regular columnist on National Daily Urdu. He is a regular writing on English also, and recently he has passed on merit on 17th number to the Bihar Service Commission and going to become a assistant professor. Earlier, he already taught in the University of Delhi and some of the private universities also. He's a very enthusiastic person and very strong activist. He's always joining movement on the road, and same time he's also trying to contribute academically on various Muslims issue. So I welcome to Abhay Bhai, and he has written a book which is about to come on Muslim issue, in which he has covered all the social, political, and economic issue of the Muslim community. So on that way, he's a very special, and he's a regular writer. He have his own YouTube channel. Those who are interested on Muslim issue, they can join him on his YouTube channel too. So thank you. And now I'm opening the session for Professor Abhay Kumar, and I welcome him. And please, Professor, you please start. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arun sir. You have always been an inspiration for me and for many other Ambedkarite activists, those who believe in democratic values. Friends, first of all, I would like to thank Center for Dalit Studies, Indian Institute of Dalit Studies, Center for Dalit Rights, National Alliance for Social Justice and Dalit Coalitions, People's Campaign for Socioeconomic Equity, Dalit Bahujan Front, National Movement for Land, Labor and Justice, Dalit Human Rights Defenders Networks, National Council of Women Leaders, and all those friends and all those organizations which have been responsible for organizing this event. And Arun sir has told me earlier that several distinguished scholars have spoken on different issues concerning social justice and constitutions. And now a series has been launched, and I have been given this opportunity to join and to speak about my PhD topic, my research topic. So I am grateful to all of you. Once again, Arun sir, thank you very much for organizing this event. Friends, let me first tell you about myself. My name is Abhay Kumar, and I have done my PhD at Center for Historical Studies. My PhD session in JNU was from 2013 to 2018. And around 2014, as per the JNU rules, you have to get your synopsis passed. Synopsis passed means that you have to get your topic finalized. At university, you are given 1 year time and 1.5 year time, so that you can study and you can make up your mind. You know it very well that around 2014, a regime change has happened. A new party has come to power, and that party, the Hindu Right Party, uh, was very strong, and it formed the government on its own. And unlike the previous right-wing regimes, this party, this government, which was formed in 2014, was very clear about its agenda, that what it wants to do. It was very clear that this government is going to change educational institute. This government is going to bring in more and more policies which are favorable to Hindutva groups. So what has happened, that how my topic about Muslim personal law was decided, and when I became very certain that I should take up this issue, this is linked with what I'm going to say. So I used to read Urdu newspapers and also Hindi and English newspapers. So I realized that after 2014, the issues about Muslim personal laws, the issue about triple talaq, the issue about halala, the issue about Muslims communities being, let's say, living in something in dark, they are being burdened on the society, they are anti-constitutionalist. That kind of reports, that kind of statements, that kinds of image were being constructed in the newspaper. So I became very interested that what is this Muslim personal law board, and what is this news about triple talaq, teen talaq, and why this story is being propagated, that Muslims are anti-women, Muslims are against constitution, Muslims are not modern, Muslims are not secular, Muslims are not progressive, while the majority community are very progressive, very secular, very pro women. That kind of image was being constructed. So I decided that I should work on Muslim personal law. Friends, my Center for Historical Studies in JNU is known for more research on socio-economic and historical topics. And when I went to the department with this topic, earlier my teachers, my supervisor, my department asked that why this Muslim personal law board is so important. Do you think that this topic is good enough for your PhD? So I try to convince, and then as you have seen, or as you have mentioned in the posters of this program, that I have that my PhD topic also included three terms: modern state, secular laws, and minorities. So if you look at the term modern state, secular laws, and minority, then these three key terms bring us to our constitutions. Our constitution is also talking about secularism and minority rights. It is also talking about giving cultural rights to minorities. And Indian constitution is one of the biggest champions of social justice and equality. Constitution has clearly said that there cannot be any discrimination based on caste, class, gender, religion. So I found that my topic is not is very much close to what is happening and what is unfolding in Indian constitution, in Indian politics. And so I started doing my research. So friends, I will come back to this point, these constitutions. Let me first tell you that what is personal law. What is the definition of personal law? Friends, in our conversation, when we say personal, so usually it gives the connotation that personal refers to individual, means that in political science it is called individual rights. But in the case of personal laws, the personal does not refer to individual rights, but it refers to community rights. So the personal laws, Muslim personal law means that a set of laws which are governing Muslims community. Similarly, Hindu personal laws are set of laws which are governing Hindus. Similarly, Christian personal laws are set of laws which are governing Christians community. So here personal, when I also started doing the research, I also thought that personal is very confusing term. Personal refers to individual. No, it is not referring to individual, but personal, here you can say the personal is referring to individual community. So we have Hindu personal laws, we have Muslim personal laws, we have Christian personal laws, we have Parsi personal laws. Another important thing we have to keep in mind, that media creates an image that only Muslim personal laws are there. So only Muslim personal laws are there, or Muslims are given favorable place in Indian constitution and Indian polity. Hindus do not have personal laws. I think this is wrong. Religious communities, various religious community in India, they have got their own personal laws. Names may differ, but they all have got personal laws. So now you would ask that what are these personal laws? The personal laws refers to 3 and 4 areas: marriage, divorce, succession, charity, etc. So you will say that personal laws, you can say in modern India, personal, you can say that personal laws refers to only those aspects which are related to marriage, succession, divorce, endowment. So you could say that, suppose if I'm a Hindu or if I'm a Muslim, if I marry, then all those matters related to marriage will be governed by, let's say, Muslim personal laws or by the Hindu personal law. Similarly, if my marriage has not been successful, and if I have come to arrived at a situation where divorce is going to happen, then divorce will take place as per Hindu personal laws or Muslim personal laws or Christian personal law. Similarly, if there is dispute about property, that how the property should be divided among the families, then Hindus will be governed as per Hindu personal law, Muslims will be governed as per their Muslim personal law, Christians will be governed by Christian personal laws. Then there is also another aspect, charity and endowment. So you have heard this news that the government has amended the Waqf Act, and now the Muslims community look at amendment of the Waqf Act as something which is going against the interest of the community. So the Waqf Act, the Waqf, which is called endowment, charity, these are also governed by Muslim personal laws or by the Hindu personal laws or by the Christian personal laws. So one thing we have to keep in mind, that personal laws are not only given to Muslims community. This is myth. I think this is the myth which is being propagated by the right-wing media, and the image is created that Muslims are given privileged positions, and this privileged position is given by the secularist party, who are who are running after the votes of the Muslims community. So they are given a special preferential treatment. I think this is not correct. Now you would ask me that why only 4 or 5 areas are being governed, and what about the rest of the matter? So I have said the personal laws are those laws which are related to marriage, succession, divorce, endowment, charities, and they govern community specific, and all the matters, rest of the matters, will be governed by secular laws. So what is this secular laws? Here secular does not mean communal and secular. You can say here secular law, you can also interpret secular laws like uniform laws. For example, if Abhay Kumar appears for any examination, then, or if Abhay Kumar wants to take admissions at any university and college, and if, let's say, Zainul Abedin wants to take admissions at any university and college, if, let's say, Michael wants to take admissions at any college and university, then all these 3 people belonging to different communities, they will be governed by the uniform laws. So the same educational qualifications will be required for everybody. Everybody has to pass the same test. So similarly, in economic sphere, in educational spheres, in taxations, in crimes, in all other aspects, what is happening, that all the communities, they are governed by the same set of law, and those set of laws are uniform, and that is why we call it in another term, term in political science, secular laws. These are secular laws. So one thing we have to keep in mind, that 95% of our personal life, whether I am a Hindu, whether I am a Muslim, whether I am Sikh, whether I am Christians, whether I am Parsis, whether I am a believer, whether I am not a believer, I am being governed by uniform laws. Only in the matter which is related to marriage, divorce, succession, charity, endowment, these are the areas where I am governed by my community's laws, my personal laws. So we have to historically keep in mind one very important fact, that before the onset of modernity, before the establishment of the modern state, and what was the case in India, that the religious communities were governed by their own personal laws. For example, in Mughal period, Hindus were governed by their own personal laws, Hindu laws. Muslims were governed by their Muslim laws. Christians were governed by their own Christian laws. But what has happened, that after the coming of the Britishers and after the establishment of the modern state, what has happened, that the modern state has realized that the modern polity, the modern economy cannot run if the religious communities are if the people are governed through their religious laws. So the Britishers had tough time to secularize the law, to impose uniform laws, and that were also protested by the religious community, but they were able to implement secular laws, uniform laws for everybody in 95% of our daily life, in 95% our public life. It is only in the 5%, and this 5% is my own calculation. I'm nowhere it is written that 5%. I'm just saying 5% so that you will be able to understand. The 5% of the area is only left out. And why it is left out? Because Britishers believed that religion is very sensitive matter, so it is better not to touch those aspects. The religious matters should not be too much touched, otherwise people will rise in rebellion, and they will not be able to maintain law and order. If you look at Baba Sahib Ambedkar and Dalit and Bahujan movements, you will find that Baba Sahib Ambedkar and Dalit and Bahujan icons, the freedom fighters, the social justice leader, the radicals, they had some appreciation for the British rule, for attacking Brahmanism, for bringing in rule of the law, for bringing in modern education, for talking about enlightenment. But Ambedkar ji and other Phule, they are also critical of British Empire in the areas where Britishers are hesitant to bring in radical reforms. And Ambedkar ji has also criticized British rule, because Ambedkar is saying that the Britishers and their institutions are being monopolized by the upper caste people. So while the claim of the British Empire is social justice and equality, but in actual politics, what is happening, that the dominant caste and dominant classes, they have got majority of the seats, and those who are downtrodden, they are not given justice and true representation. And Ambedkar ji, a radical, is also critical of British Empire, that it is not bringing in reforms as the subaltern classes wanted or desired. But the British government has their own calculations in their mind. They believe that in the matter like marriage, succession, or family laws, those areas should not be touched. Those areas should be governed by the faith of the people, the customary laws, so that they would be able to rule this country peacefully, and they will be able to maintain law and order. Now, there is a big criticism that is personal law sacrosanct? Should personal laws not be reformed? Should not personal law be done away with? Should we not go for uniform civil code? And Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar has been quoted by the right-wing people that Ambedkar ji wanted uniform civil code to be imposed. He was against Muslim personal laws. So Dalits should support uniform civil code, and Dalits should oppose Muslim personal laws. So that kind of propaganda is being spread by right-wing groups. So since most of our friends who have joined this webinar, they belong to Baba Sahib Ambedkar's ideology. So let me also spend 1 or 2 minutes here, and we have to keep in mind that what Ambedkar ji has said, and how to maintain balance between minority rights, cultural rights, and then equality, so that we should not get trapped in the right wing agenda. Friends, first of all, we have to keep in mind that personal laws, whether Muslim personal laws or Hindu personal laws or Christian personal laws, they are not divine. They are not immune from any reforms. They are not outside, beyond Indian constitution, as the community and religious leader would like to propagate. For example, the Muslim community leaders would say that Muslim personal laws are sacrosanct, they are divine words, so there cannot be any change in it. Similarly, when Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar wanted to reform Hindu code bill, at that time Hindu conservative forces, they also argued that Manu Dharma or Hindu religious laws, they are sacrosanct, they are divine, and they should not be touched. Parliament has no power, constitution has no business to touch, let's say, personal laws. So that kind of argument is being given. If Baba Sahib Ambedkar were here, he would have said very clearly that is not acceptable. Baba Sahib would have said very clearly that nothing is outside constitution. Nothing is immune from democratic, from feminist, from egalitarian scrutiny. So it is the vested interest of the community leaders, the religious leader, cutting across religious communities, that they propagate that you cannot touch these areas. For example, when untouchability was being abolished, it was also the argument which was given. Oh, you cannot touch untouchability because it has gone divine sanction. But Baba Sahib Ambedkar would say very clearly that social ills, inequality cannot be defended in the name of religion. Baba Sahib Ambedkar accepted Buddhism not because Baba Sahib Ambedkar wanted to find a god, or Baba Sahib Ambedkar was interested in rituals. Baba Sahib Ambedkar chose Buddhism because Baba Sahib Ambedkar found Buddhism to be a religion which is based on community solidarity. Buddhism is a religion which is based on knowledge. The term is pragya. Buddhism is a religion which promotes rationality. Buddhism is a religion which brings people together. It promotes fraternity. Baba Sahib Ambedkar is not interested in rituals. Baba Sahib Ambedkar is not interested in establishing a priestly class. Baba Sahib Ambedkar is for a religion which is going to provide peace, rationality, fraternity to individual, to community. So similarly, Baba Sahib Ambedkar would be against the view that personal laws is immune from any intervention. Personal laws is beyond constitution. Personal laws is beyond the scrutiny of let's say parliament. Ambedkar would deny it, and that is why Baba Sahib Ambedkar supported uniform civil code. So if I say that Baba Sahib Ambedkar supported uniform civil code, then does it mean that Baba Sahib Ambedkar has no respect for cultural rights of minority? Baba Sahib Ambedkar has no respect for the rights of minority group? No. Baba Sahib Ambedkar was an ambassador of equality. Baba Sahib Ambedkar at the same time was the biggest defender of minority rights. And if you read Baba Sahib Ambedkar's writings, he has always said that democracy cannot be successful if minorities are not given protection. And here the term minorities is broadly defined. Minorities are those who are religious minorities. Minorities are those who are socially discriminated. Minorities are those who are historically discriminated. Minorities are those who were discriminated by the ill practices of untouchability. So Baba Sahib Ambedkar has said that democracy is not like a rock. It's not like a natural phenomena that once you have established it, it will be there. If there is a mountain, if you come to that come to mountain after 100 years, the mountain will be there solid. But democracy is not like that. Democracy has to be defended. Democracy has to be protected. Democracy has to be fought. It is not given, it is not there, because the reactionary forces are trying to weaken democracy, and democracy can only be strengthened when the weaker sections are given effective representation, the marginalized communities are given true representation, effective representation, when welfare of the people is ensured, and when minorities are protected. So Baba Sahib Ambedkar believed that uniform civil code should be brought in, but his idea of uniform civil code was not the idea of Hindu right, which is desperate to impose a particular set of religious laws on everybody. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's idea of uniform civil code was that a laws which should be based on equality, fraternity, liberty, and that should be given to everybody. Baba Sahib Ambedkar was a feminist who is not willing to accept that family is sacrosanct. Communities' laws are sacrosanct. Baba Sahib Ambedkar believed that communities, caste, villages, families, these are also the places where inequalities are there. Those inequalities should be removed. And that is why Baba Sahib Ambedkar was the biggest champion of Hindu Code Bill. He wanted to reform Hindu Code Bill because he realized that Hindu women are given bad treatment. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's writing, if you read Rise and Fall of the Hindu Women, he is basically saying that after the coming of Manu codes, women's positions fell and they were treated like the Shudras. So the women were seen as part of Shudra. If you read Brahmanical literature, you will find that the literature of the Brahmanism is not against Dalits only. It is not against Adivasi, but it is also against women. That is why the social justice thinker, Periyar, Ambedkar, Lohia, they always talked about the rights of the women. So I asked during an interview with eminent scholar, Flavia Agnes, who has also worked on personal laws. I asked, Madam, we are great champion of the minority rights, and minority rights are being attacked by the right-wing forces. At the same time, the women from the minorities communities, they are also struggling for their own rights, and they are fighting with the patriarch of their own community, and the patriarch always defend themselves in the name of minority rights. So in that conditions, what should be our position? Flavia Agnes has no doubt, and she has said without spending even a second that we have to protect minority rights when minority is being attacked by the majoritarian forces. But at the same time, when the women of the minority groups, when they are fighting for their own rights against their own patriarch, against their own feudal forces, then we have to stand with the Muslim women, we have to stand with the Hindus women, we have to stand with Christians women, because gender questions is very important. I think Baba Sahib Ambedkar was also speaking and doing his politics in the same spirit. So one thing you have to keep in mind that Baba Sahib Ambedkar, this is my understanding, was for uniform civil code. But his uniform civil code was not like the way the Hindutva forces are talking about in uniform civil code, where they want to bring in, let's say, Brahminical rule or laws, and they want to impose on everybody. Baba Sahib Ambedkar believed that uniform laws should be there for the citizen, but that uniform law should be based on the values of equality, liberty, and fraternity. But we have to also keep in mind that Ambedkar's thought is incomplete without minority rights. Ambedkar was the biggest defender of minority rights. And Ambedkar ji has said very clearly, no leader has said so passionately and so clearly that when the upper caste people, when they organize and when they try to serve their own interest, they call it nationalism. But when minorities, they fight for their legitimate rights, it is dismissed as communalism. So nobody would be more concerned about the minority questions than Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Ambedkar ji was for the protections of minority rights. And Ambedkar ji in Constituent Assembly, while he was supporting Uniform Civil Code, and his understanding of Uniform Civil Code was very different from what Hindutva forces are talking about. When in the name of Uniform Civil Code, what they're trying to do, they're attacking the liberty of minorities group, they are trying to control the sexuality of the women, and they are trying to stop two young couples, two mature people from marrying each other. So basically the idea of uniform civil code, as it is being brought in or being talked about by the Hindutva forces, they are against the values of equality, liberty, and fraternity. So Ambedkar ji was not supporter of that kind of uniform civil code. Ambedkar ji was supporter of uniform civil code where the laws are based on equality, fraternity, where the laws are favoring women rights. And when the Hindu right forces were talking about uniform civil code and the minority groups were not willing to accept uniform civil code at that time, Baba Sahib Ambedkar has said very clearly, and that is very important point. Baba Sahib Ambedkar has said that a state should not bring in any laws that people are not able to accept, because if that laws is imposed on the people, then people will rise in rebellion. So Baba Sahib Ambedkar, while supporting his own understanding on uniform civil code, he also said that since Muslims community, since people are not willing to accept, then wait. So Ambedkar ji's message was that you cannot impose any reforms on any community from the top. The reforms must emerge from inside, within the community. We have to go and win the confidence of the people before bringing any reforms. But what is happening, that the Hindutva forces are not trying to win the heart and minds of the people, but they are trying to impose. And by carrying forward the narrative of, let's say, anti-minoritism, they are ruling this country. So the point is very clear that first of all, we have to keep in mind that personal laws are with all the communities. The second point is that personal laws should be defended because our constitution has given cultural rights, our constitution has given religious freedom to everybody, including minority. So we cannot do away with the minority rights. We cannot do away with the personal laws. That is not possible, because our constitution is for the protections of minority and their practices. At the same time, our constitution is also the biggest champion of equality. So in the name of community, in the name of religious laws, you cannot keep laws that are discriminatory towards vulnerable section. So in the where equality is violated, then the personal laws can be amended. Friends, I think we can take up many more issues during our discussion. But one thing I would like to say here, and then I would like to stop. You keep hearing that government keeps setting up law commission to find out the desirability of uniform civil code. I think 17th law commission were constituted 4 or 5 years back, and that I think that 17th law commissions, if my memory is correct, gave its report in 2017 or 18, and the question was given by the government to find out the desirability of the uniform civil code. So the law commission in its report, it is there on the internet. If you want, I can give you, I have the PDF copy. The law commission has very clearly said that it is not desirable to bring in uniform civil code given the diversity of this country. The more practical approach is that wherever there is a problem, we should try to address that problem in that religious community. And one thing we have to always keep in mind, that the that women in Muslims communities are not alone to raise their voices against some anti-women practices. But women of the Hindu communities, women of the Christians community, they are also struggling for equality. The image is being given that only Muslim men are mistreating women. But the fact of the matter is that Hindu men are far ahead in mistreating their women. When caste system is in place, when Manu's code is there in your mind, it is not possible to give justice to women. When dowry is there, when honor killing is there, when a Dalits and a Brahmins, when they marry, when the society is going to kill those couples, that means that equality is not there. So, in the Law Commission report, the Law Commission has pointed out the areas where reforms should be done, not only in Muslim personal laws, but also in Hindu personal laws, in Christian personal laws. So, my argument is that we must stand with the rights of the women. We must try to reforms those practices which are not desirable in modern and progressive life. They should be changed, they should be reformed. At the same time, we have to defend the minority rights, the minority culture, the minority representation. But we have to keep in mind that the question of gender should be fought on gender plank. Gender questions should not be hijacked by the communal forces. The impression by the media and the communal forces is being created that all the problems are there in the Muslims community, and Hindu communities has no problem. There is no caste system, there is no dowry, there is no honor killing, there is no attack on Dalit women. Every day Dalit women is being attacked. So the point my research finding is, my research uh, is telling me very clearly that women of the Hindu community, women of the Muslims community, women of the Christians community, they should come together to fight against patriarchy. This is not the fight against Muslims community, but it is a fight against casteism. It is fight against irrationality. It is a fight against unequal values. This is what I have to say. So my conclusion is, my request is, Ambedkar ji was for uniform civil code, but he was not like the uniform civil code of the Hindutva forces. He was for equality. Ambedkar ji was for modern values. Ambedkar ji was for equality. Ambedkar ji was also for the minority rights. So we have to defend minority rights. At the same time, the vulnerable sections within the minority community should also be supported. This is what I have to say. I think my book is to be published very soon. All those friends who have joined, I think we will stay in touch. And what I have done, everything cannot be discussed in one meeting. I thank Arun sir for giving me this opportunity to say a portion of what I think and what my research is. And I think we have to collectively work together, think together. And while we have to defend minority rights, we have to defend cultural rights, but we have to also keep in mind that culture cannot be a shield to keep discriminatory politics. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Abhay bhai. And the combination of an activist and a researcher, academic, it's all together reflected on your total deliberation. And really, it's covered more than expectation. The area, particular like you have talking about that common civil code. It always countered by the this right wing forces that even Ambedkar was very much in support of the common civil code, unified civil code, and many more areas you covered. And you covered basically the women rights and how we have to look into this minority issues and where are the problems at all. But still, I was expecting, and you may reflect on that. That the Waqf board is very much related to the land issue, in which the Dalits are basically struggled from long for the land issue, and the Waqf board is also related to the land issue. So I hope that you will reflect at some point, if you can put some light on that, what is the constitutionality of the Waqf board issue. That is one. And the second, because the time is going on, I would request Lakshmaya Anna, if he can raise certain thing, or if he can reflect, and then we will open the floor for others if anybody have any questions. Lakshmaya Anna, if you have anything to say.
No, thank you, Abhay Kumarji. I think you will presented very well and subject and topic. I think now we have to open to discussion. Please, coordinator.
So friends, it's a plenty of areas Abhay bhai has opened. Abhay is my close friend and colleague, and we are connected from very long. And it is a time he opened very so many areas, not limited to the minorities. He covered even women and the other marginalized sections. So now, if anybody have anything to raise, and anybody need to know or having any question, please raise your question. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
You
So
are
Yes,
audible,
sir.
sir. You are audible. You are very much
yeah.
audible.
So if anybody have any question or any clarification needed to be, please raise. So do we take that everybody is very much convinced with the deliberation of Abhay Kumar, or do we
Yes.
need some point needed to be raised? Any clarity anybody needed? It is important because this time when we are raising this issue, that minority and Waqf board, this is the most discussed and right now in the country, and we are not aware, or many of us not exactly clear what is the constitutionality of the Waqf board, though it is very much related to the land. If nobody have any question, then I request Abhay bhai, if you can put some light on this Waqf board and constitutionality of the Waqf board land issue.
Arun sir, I think my friend Zishan Sahab wants to raise some question. Yes, Zishan Sahab, please go ahead.
Yes, Jishan sahab, please.
Uh, yeah. Can you hear me? Can you all
Yes,
hear
yes,
me?
you are
Yes, yes, yes.
audible.
You are well
Okay,
audible.
okay. So, Abhay bhai, hello, my name is Ishan. I've done PhD from JNU, and Abhay bhai was my senior. So we are in touch for last 4 5 years. And so, Abhay bhai, my question was, uh, B.R. Ambedkar published his text States and Minorities 1947. So that text is considered as core of understanding his views on minorities. So can you share with us some of the key arguments he made in that text?
The text is there. I think you have already read it many times. We have already discussed. But what I always keep in mind, what Ambedkar ji has said in state minority, 2 points, very easy points. I always remember it. I think it has become something like slogan for me. He has said that minorities need effective and proportionate representation. The term proportionate is often heard, but effective is not heard, or effective is not too much stressed. I will give you one example. Suppose if there is a house which has got, let's say, 100 members, and any religious minority group is only, let's say, its population is only 5, let's say 5% of the total uh, uh, society. So in that case, if you give proportionate representation, that minority groups will only have 5 members. So the 5 members will not be able to stop the laws which would be against the interest of the minority communities. But in one way, you can say that, oh, you have given a proportionate representation. So Ambedkar ji, that is why he has said that it's not only proportionate, but it's also effective. And if I have to say effective, if I may be allowed to use the term, he is given some kind of veto power to minority communities. That means that irrespective of the number, you cannot have majoritarian politics. We have also seen in JNU also. Some of our friends who have won the election, they are very proud and they would say, "Hum to jeete hue hain. We have got the number." The same thing is also being repeated by the political parties. Once you have won the election, I think no criticism can happen. So Ambedkar ji has criticized Nehru also on this point. And today we are criticizing the establishment on the very point. The same point is being repeated. Oh, we have won the elections, so you cannot ask the question. Ambedkar ji has said, if I remember it correctly, in his speech, Ways to Communal Problem, he has said that this is the problem with the Hindus, that they think that the majority rule is sacrosanct. This is what today is happening. The laws against the minority group is not being pushed through any dictatorial policies. They are very much legal, but intention is not correct. So you are doing illegality through legal means, and that is more dangerous. If you impose something illegally, then what will happen? That at least people will rise against that. But what is happening, the sad part is that legally you are bringing in illegality. So Baba Sahib Ambedkar, when he was in the when he's in parliament, he's also critical of the members from his own community who had joined the majority group. And Ambedkar Sahib had said, he has written, it's not propaganda against any party. He has said that the ruling party has picked up those who are speaking against their own community and against myself. And he has said that those people do not realize that if reservation is not there in practice, if the constitutional safeguards are not there, they will not be given any importance by the ruling party. So the problem is that in parliament we also don't earlier we also get carried out by this popular agenda that, oh, Dalits are so many numbers in the parliament, why they are not doing anything. So my point is, are they real representatives? what kind of institutional mechanism is there. When you cannot win election on your own, when you have to be dependent on outside vote, when you need ticket from the party, you need money from the party, you cannot speak too much. So the point is, proportionate is important, but more than that is effective. So today, not only Dalit community, but also Muslim MPs, they don't speak about their own for the welfare or their own community. They don't speak. You just see how many Muslim leaders from the secular parties has really spoken in favor of the work board. So my point is, Ambedkar ji has very clearly said that without protections of the minorities, and minorities include both religious minorities and those socially discriminated, those who are historically discriminated, those who are powerless, if they are not given some kind of the veto power, then democracy cannot be successful. And to think that majority rule is sacrosanct, you can bring anything through brute majority power, that is undoing democracy.
Abhay bhai, the very much important point that either SC, ST or the minority, they can't raise any issue within the parliament or the assembly because they are bound with the whip of the party. If they will come out from the any pressure from the whip of the party, then they can take decision by their own, and it is not happening. But anyway, you have taken the whole canvas of the minority. But still, I strongly feel that the work board land issues are very much important. If you can put some light, if nobody have any question, I need your response that constitutionality of the work board land, because it is very much important.
I will take
And
just
if anybody have question.
yes, I will just take 2 minutes. First of all, waqf, WAQF. Waqf is an Arabic word which means something that is standing. But in technical term, work properties are referred to those charitable properties which a believer Muslim has donated it for the welfare of the community. So Islam, which is an egalitarian religion, many scholars, Dalit Bahujan scholars, including V.T. Rajasekhar, was great admirer of Islam. He has said that Islam is basically the religion of the poor. So Islam has said, and Islam has asked its follower that prayer is not enough. Prayer is coupled with welfare of the people. If you are only praying and if you do not take care of your brother, your sister, your community, those who are around you, then your prayer is meaningless. So the social service is very much part of the Islamic philosophy. Whether as an individual Muslim you are doing it or whether you are corrupt, this is another thing. So pious Muslim, because of the religious belief, they donate a portion of their property to be used for the welfare of the community. One thing, Arun sir, we have to keep in mind that once I have donated that property, even I cannot take back that property. So the point is, I support work property. I support work property. I think that work property should be maintained for its original purposes, for the promotions of the humanity, for the welfare of the people. I strongly support it because the property cannot be sold, that property cannot be transferred, not by the person who has donated it. And then there is a term which is called mutawalli, who is the custodian of the property. Even the mutawalli cannot take that property. He is like just like a trustee, the manager who is looking after the property. So Sachar committee, there is a chapter in the Sachar committee report. If I am correct, I think it is chapter number 12 or 7. I don't remember it, but it is there, of course. And Sachar has he has in detail talked about work property, and Sachar has said very clearly that there is corruptions. There is no doubt about that. Corruptions is not there. He has also accepted the fact that the work property is not being managed properly. He has talked about so many problems with the work property, and sir, work property is being encroached upon by individual, by the corporate forces, and by the government also. In the such a report, if you go and if you read such a report, in the such a report, there is a list, there is a column, there is a table which is there. You can find out that how many properties in Delhi belonging to, I think, work board has been encroached by the government. How many properties are there encroached by the, let's say, another government? So the list is there. The point which Sachin is trying to make, that there is a corruption, the property is being usurped, property is being captured by individual, by the corporate forces, even by the government. So that the need of the hour is, according to such a committee, and I would like to agree with such a committee. He's saying there is a need to better manage work property. There is a need to bring in those who are expert, technocrats, technicians, those who are historians, those who are experts, to bring in. Sachar has also said very interesting thing, that UPSC should bring in a cadre who would be able to manage the property well. And he had said in the report, it is Arun sir, it is given that the total property of the Waqf in India goes into over 2000 crore. So if you manage well, even that money, even if you could get 10% out of that property, that 10% would be so many 100 crores, and that can go into welfare of the marginalized community. But what is happening, that Arun sir, what is happening, that the property which is owned by the community is being eyed by the corporate forces, by the powerful people, by the rich people. They want to capture, they want to snatch those properties, and that is why all kinds of rules are being made, and it is being argued that there is so much corruption. Yes, I accept that there is corruption, but corruption should be addressed. But what government is trying to do, government has bring in 3 and 4 very objectionable things in work property. Number one, that non-Muslim members could be there, could be nominated in work board or work council. Second is that a part, that earlier the power was there with the with the court to decide the matter. Now the power is handed over to the civil servant by the district magistrate, and now it is a big violation of what should is a jurisprudence, that when the government is a party, how could a government servant will be given power to decide the legality of the property? So the point of view, my argument is that the property should be owned by the community. It should be protected from the loot by the greedy people, by the powerful people. And in this spirit, I am not looking at work property only from, let's say, religious point of view. I am looking it from the point of view of the welfare of the people. Any property should be owned by the community. And Baba Sahib Ambedkar has also said that the land should be collectively owned. If anything is owned by collectivity, as we have seen in the Adivasi community, that their resources are owned by the by the community. So any alienation, any marketization, commercialization of the property is against the interest of the people. And I think that work property should be defended, not because that it is a religious matter, but it is related to protection of the property for the people. We should defend property to be monopolized by the rich and the powerful people.
So thank you. Really, I really feel proud, Abhay Bhai, that I'm associated with you. And you covered so many areas, though I was expecting that you will talk only about the work board and the property issues. And the one thing which has been in your last deliberation came out very clearly, that all the land within the work board, that should be a charity and should be that should be used for the community, which is not happening. And it is being snatched by the corporate as well the government. They too are the major perpetrator who have been taken it out. So if anybody have any question, I request please raise some questions. Otherwise, I request Ravi, please, vote of thanks to Ravi. But Abhay Bhai, you did a really great job.
Yes, sir. I think this is a very good lecture by Abhay Kumar sir. We listen like a class. That is only everybody clear about his speech, his lecture. Everybody learned something today about works mode and everything. I think thanks to all the participants, and I thank Abhikote sir. I thank Abhay Kumar sir once again. So we'll meet again if possible on January 26th next year. So let me, if you send that the paper and written, we try to publish before 26th of next January. So maybe that will explain by the Arabic profession. So I thank one and all. I thank Arabic sir. I thank Abhay Kumar sir and participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all to share and joining us. Thank you.
Thank you,
Jai
sir.
Bhim.
Thank you very much, sir. I will be
Thank you,
sending
Abhay
you the
Bhai.
paper, sir. I will be sending you the paper, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll take
Okay,
it
sir.
up. No
Okay.
problem.
Any deadline,
Okay,
sir?
sir.
Any
Thank you.
deadline, sir?
No, sir. January 26th next
No,
year.
no,
We having a
By
I-
November, by
national-
November maximum. November,
Okay.
December, it
maybe
is
by
very good.
November. By November, maybe we can send them.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Abhay. You made me very much happy today.
Thank you, sir.
I'm proud of you.
Thank
Sir,
you,
sir.
Abhay.
We also very happy, sir. Very happy. We also.
Abhay Kumarji, thank you very much. This is
Thank you, sir.
Malapel
Thank you,
Lakshmi.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Jai Bhim, sir. Jai Bhim.
Jai Bhim, Jai Bhim.